Hey everyone, it's BrowncoatNerd, and today I've got a review on something a little different. I believe this is only the third time I've done a review on a firearm that's not a surplus. But this is my Bear Creek Arsenal AR-15. This is a very budget-friendly. In my opinion, it's a great for a entry-level AR, or if you're just simply wanting to add one to your collection, which was kind of the case for me. Now, I purchased this a while ago, back in July of 2016. Um, there was kind of a AR grab, if you will, at the time. The ones that were available, um, they were available, but they weren't the entry level ones. Those ones kind of seemed to be selling out quick. A lot of people that were not familiar with the AR platform seemed to be getting on board at that time. As was kind of my case. So back in July of 2016, there's three different ARs I was looking at. One of them was it had the polymer lower, I believe it was ATI, polymer lower with metal inserts. And I knew I was kind of rolling the dice on that from the reviews. Some people were praising it, some people were hating it. And this Bear Creek Arsenal, as well as I believe it was an MP Sport. It was not the Sport 2. I can't remember if the Sport 2 wasn't out yet or if they were just simply sold out. So I ended up going with this one for, a few reasons. Now, obviously, I have the Magpul Bad Lever, which is the bolt assist lever device, whatever they call it. That does not come with it. I was kind of in the middle of painting the fire and safe. Although I say I was kind of in the middle. I started this a long time ago and just never picked it back up. And you'll notice, oh no, it's in fire, do not worry, as the bolt is out, so it will not go into safe. So just let you know, I am handling my firearms safely. But thank you for your concern. So I bought this back in 2016. The price then, and like I said, this was like the second to cheapest AR I could find. But I ended up paying $540. Which, looking back, I don't regret it. It's still a good purchase. This gun's been pretty good for me. But you can find these now for $400. A lot of times for $350, you'll see them on sale quite often. So you can get these substantially cheaper now. But the reason I picked this over the other two was, one, I really wanted to stick with, your traditional all aluminum receiver. I didn't really want to mess with the polymer one if this is going to be my only AR. And the other reason is, once again, I kind of wanted to be traditional with it, was the Smith & Wesson MP Sport. I'm not talking about the Sport 2, but the original, or I guess you could say Sport 1. I don't believe it had a dust cover, a forward assist. I think it had a shell deflector. Now, I understand that you do not need any of these. I've never ever used my forward assist, and I've never dropped my gun in mud or been in, a very dusty area where the dust cover was needed. But I just wanted them because, I figured this would probably be my only AR in my collection. I wanted to have those classic AR features. With that being said, yes, I already do have a lower that I will be building soon. But anyways, so that's kind of the reason I went the Bear Creek Arsenal route. At the time I purchased this, there really wasn't a whole lot of information, really, if any, on Bear Creek Arsenal. So I know I was kind of really rolling the dice there. They do seem to offer a lot of custom barrels. That's kind of their thing. But then they came out with this just kind of, standard entry-level AR. So what you get when you order these, you just get your plain Jane AR. I do believe some of them came with a carry handle, which had the rear sight in it. The one I got came with nothing at all. Did come with this hard case, which I think was a classic exclusive. A lot of times when I see these in the description, I will see them flat out say it comes in a cardboard box. So you may or may not get a hard case, more than likely a cardboard box. Which, I mean, it's not a fancy hard case. It's a basic cheapo one, but it's a hard case, and it comes with the gun. And especially if you're ordering it online, it's just kind of nice to have that added protection. Get an owner's manual, which is just a very generic AR manual. Nothing special there. And I've been wanting to do this review for a while. kind of wanted to get plenty of rounds in on this gun to make sure there weren't any issues, because I was really having none. And then Bear Creek kind of got into the news lately. So just before I have a bunch of people blowing up the comments, let's see, it was in February of 2019. The manufacturing plant actually got raided by ICE. And I guess they found 30 illegal aliens working there. It does appear that they're using stolen ID, so it's not like Bear Creek, or at least it doesn't look like, I have no clue what's going on with the investigation, but it doesn't look like, they're knowingly running like a sweatshop of AR builds or anything like that. So before, people are like, blah, 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 they kind of finally got in the news, but not for the best of reasons. I've seen a few more reviews on these lately. Everything's been pretty positive on these. You kind of get what you would expect to get. It's a very basic entry-level AR. Starting at the front, you have your standard A2 flash hider, and it is a proper one. A lot of times you'll see like the little cutouts on the bottom, but the proper ones, they're solid on the bottom, so I guess it doesn't kick up dust or maybe kind of works as a muzzle brake. I'm not sure. You got your standard A2 front sight / gas block, your standard handguards, and they do have a heat shield inside. I've since changed these handguards. Actually, I just threw them back on for this review, as well as the pistol grip. But I'll say these never got hot. I did fire this gun quite a bit with these originals on there. They never got hot. To me, it was just it was kind of uncomfortable, which kind of wasn't really expecting that. I felt it was rather stubby. I wish it was a little bit longer, so I got the Magpul grip handguards to kind of come out a little bit further. I feel like that's just right. Plus, they're a little bit slimmer than this, and it just, overall, it feels better than this. This wasn't horrible, though. You can see gaps there. If you're someone that's really OCD about little things, this probably is not the AR for you. There's plenty of things to get OCD about on this. As you can see, it does have a bayonet lug if you wish to do that. I will say that the barrel kind of has this crappy phosphate finish on here. If you have those like Casey Birchwood wipes, which I usually keep this wipe down with, I didn't clean the outside of this since I last shot it. Kind of wanted to show you what this barrel looked like, I guess, dry. But with those Casey Birchwood wipes, when you wipe it down, this looks a lot better, and it lasts for a long time. And I know that sounds like a paid advertisement. I wish it was, but it's not. But just so you know, that's one way around it if that really bugs you. Once again, this isn't a safe queen for me. I just wanted something to add to my collection. So, for me, it doesn't really bother me. And it does have that heavier M4 profile for the grenade launcher, that little cutout there, which, is kind of an added bonus. I was hoping to get one that had that profile. Looks cool. Also nice having the heavy burl on there. Your standard handguards, like I said, this one didn't come with the rear sight at all. Some of them do come with the carry handle that have the rear sight on them. I have no clue what brand of carry handle they were using for those. I do know on the butt stocks, those will vary for manufacturer to manufacturer, but it's all pretty much going to be your just standard collapsible butt stock, nothing fancy, nothing, not a Magpul or minimalist or anything like that. This particular one is a UTG, same for the buffer tube, and I believe that is a commercial. I wrote that down somewhere. Yes, it is a commercial sized buffer tube, in case you were wondering. The upper, as you can see, has the square marking on it, which means that is made by brass aluminum forge. The lower, I really couldn't find any markings on that at all, so I'm not sure where the lower comes from. And as you can tell, it's really showing up well in this light. Even like looking at it with my own eyeball, it doesn't look like that bad, but then when I look on the screen of the camera, I see how much of a contrast it is, how that bottom's kind of almost a plum. It actually kind of looks cool on camera. I wouldn't mind if it looked a little more like that in real life. But in real life, the colors match much more closely than this. Once again, like I said, there's plenty of things to geek out on if you're very OCD. Those lines there kind of match up. You know, that's another biggie for some people. I do know over here we have some that don't line up at all. But once again, I mean, this is just a basic entry-level AR that works. They really don't bug me all that much. Comes with your standard charging handle. Nothing fancy there. There's really nothing fancy on this gun at all. Oh, I forgot. Also included with this, you get 3 cases. I guess this is just showing that the gun functioned through 3 rounds. I know a lot of times with some of my handguns, they'll come with like a sealed envelope with the spent casing that I know in some states or counties you're supposed to turn it in so that they have like records so they can check your little firing pin fingerprint. But those come in sealed envelopes where this is just a baggie, so like anyone can open this up and, you know, swap those out if they wanted to. So I don't think that's what this is for. I guess this is just to show, you know, the gun functioned 3 rounds fine. Does have the test date on there, so you know, this gun was brand new when I purchased it. It's inspected by MM, if that is your real name. Commented, okay. Not spectacular or magnificent, just okay, which, you know, that's what this rifle is. It's okay. It's not spectacular or magnificent, but it does the job. One thing you'll see a bunch of people comment, and really I haven't seen it be an issue or heard of it being an issue, but the extractor spring back here, it's got a little O-ring around it. And this is missing the O-ring. It's got the spring in there. And I did pop this off and just kind of double check. And this one is missing the O-ring. And it's a super cheap part. And I always said, you know, if I, you know, order something from some place that has those, I'll just go ahead and order one. I think they're less than $1. But at the same time, you know, I bought this gun to tinker with. I'm probably going to change out the bolt. You know, if you see my videos on my mill syrup guns, I don't like messing with them because I want to keep them original. Well, part of my reason for wanting the AR, not just to add one to my collection, is, but gag nabbit, I want something to fidget with and modify and, you know, kind of do my own thing with. Of course, that being said, I've had this since 2016, and I changed the grip and the handguards, and I painted safe on it. So I'm not moving along too well there, but I definitely need to catch up. But I'm sure the bolt carrier I will eventually change out. But it comes with just your standard bolt carrier. It is made of 8620 steel from the information I can gather. Now, a lot of the sources that are selling it in their comments, they're saying that this key is gas lined and that the inside of the bolt carrier is chrome lined. That the gas key is chrome lined and that the inside of the bolt carrier here is chrome lined as well, which they typically are. I mean, I've shot this a fair amount. I don't think I've put 1,000 rounds through it, probably fairly close to that. So I don't know if it's just, you know, dirty or if this indeed isn't chrome lined or if I'm missing something there. But once again, it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't, because this is just your very basic economical AR, but one that's not going to crap out on you. And I know people are screaming, show us your stakes. My understanding, that's a good staking. So there's that for you. There are no M&P marks on here, which, you know, is kind of disappointing. And that means it's been a magnetic and particle inspected something or other. But you want to look for that in bullet carriers. It's typical on the ARs. Just means it's basically your decent quality bolt and bolt carrier. So this might be just a step down, but I've never had any issues with it. Yeah, I know 1,000 rounds really isn't a bunch, but I've got a lot of other guns to play with. Can't be all about you guys. So the only issues I've had with it, I bought some of those kind of Vietnam looking GI style mags from Brownells. I got a 30 rounder and a 20 round mag. They just look really cool in my opinion. Much better than these Tapco mag that it came with. But the followers on those completely sucked, but I did end up changing those out with the Magpul followers you can get. And I've only had a chance to take those out once. They function fine, other than the fact that the bolt would not catch on the last round, so it didn't stay open. But other than that, it functioned just fine. And then, of course, the magnet comes with is your, a lot of people hate on these, and they are ugly. Yeah, Tapco. But, I mean, it's not super cheap. I mean, this seems like fairly rugged material. And to be honest with you guys, I've really had no issues with it. I'm not going to lie, I do tend not to try to grab it. I try to grab my Magpul or my Lancer first, but, I'll take that one out. I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. So, once again, you get a, it's okay. MM nailed it with his brief review of this gun, and it is okay. I do want to touch on real quick in case anyone noticed. This does come with the front sling attachment. I had to take it out for those handguards I purchased. They didn't really go over the sling mount, and I wasn't really planning on carrying a sling. Also, you may notice it also does come with a rear sling attachment, but I took that off because when I was shooting this, I realized it was just extremely uncomfortable. And I don't know if it's just the sling attachment stuck out really wide or if my man boob is just getting too big. But it is rather uncomfortable. I took that off, and it was much more comfortable. I do plan on eventually changing this out. My original plans for this gun have kind of come to a halt. I'm planning on doing something else for you guys with stuff for this gun, but that'll be for a later video. I realized I jumped over one of the important things, the barrel twist. Is 1 in 9. I'm not extremely well AR versed, but I know bullet weight and barrel twist are an important thing, and you should pay attention to them in the AR world. You also notice this chamber 223 Wild. And it took me a little while to kind of figure out what that was too. That is not actually a chambering. So, long story short, and I'm sure I'm missing details, but this is the Cliff Notes version of it. If you have an AR that's chambered in 223, you can shoot 223 only in that weapon. If you have an AR that's chambered in 5.56, you can fire, obviously, 5.56 in that weapon, but you can also fire 223. But when you're firing 223, my understanding is the accuracy is slightly affected negatively. And so what the 223 Wild chambering is, it's a 5.56 chamber, but they've done something to it. They've slightly changed the angle of the collar or the neck, and you're supposed to get better accuracy out of your 223 round, but you can still fire 5.56. That's the long story short of it. I don't know if it's just a gimmicky thing or smoke and mirrors. I'm not that great of a shot. I'm definitely a collector before I'm a shooter, so I don't think for me that would ever get to a point where it's, oh, damn. I need a 223 Wild chambering or I'd have much better groups. That will never be me. I'm going to look at it and be like, sweet, I hit the paper. So there is that. But once again, that's kind of a cool thing because that's kind of an upgrade on the barrels, and this does come with that. So even though it's an entry-level AR, it has a little bit of a fancy upgrade there. Like I said, it has the 1 in 9 twist. Barrel material. I've got a couple different findings, if you will, on that. Some places are saying it's made of 4140 steel. Other ones are saying 4150. And I do remember, I want to say it was on Bear Creek's Arsenal a while back. It might have been someone else selling their stuff. But I do remember them selling this exact same upper. It was not the complete rifle, did not have the lower, it was just the upper. But they offered it with a melanite finish for a little bit more. So I don't know, maybe the ones that had the melanite finish might have been a slightly higher quality, the 4150 steel as well. I really couldn't tell you. I can definitely tell you that is not a melanite finish. And these also are not chrome lined. Once again, people are pro that and against it. Some people say it affects accuracy. It won't affect my accuracy. Chrome lining is nice, of course, because it's easier to clean. And it helps prevent your barrel from getting corrosion in it. But at the same time, it's not really needed, especially when you're not even shooting corrosive ammo, and if you're cleaning your gun shortly afterwards. You know, it doesn't really matter. So, you know, that's definitely a corner they cut there, getting rid of that chrome lining. But to me, it's not a big deal at all. This does have the M4 feed lips on it, which is kind of a redesign to the feed lips when they went to the M4 style. And once again, that's kind of pretty common on all of the ARs you see today. It's almost like saying, you know, a tire company selling their tires and advertising that they're radials. It's like, well, yeah, they're all radials now. But this does have the M4 feed lips. Like I said, it has the brass forge upper, which I believe is 7075 T6 aluminum, which my understanding is just kind of, that's your standard stuff for the AR. The lower, like I said, I cannot find any markings as to who made it, but listings for this gun do say that it's 7075 T6 or TG aluminum. I forget which one. Can you tell I'm not a big AR guy? But that's your standard quality stuff. They didn't cut any corners on that. While I was showing the bolt, I forgot to lift the firing pin out. The firing pin does look like it's chrome plated. So there's some chrome for you. And like I said, I've got less than 1,000 rounds through it. I've had no issues other than issues with magazines. It's been a pretty good gun for me. I also do have one of the flip-up mag pull rear sights. The rails up here aren't numbered. You will notice there's a mark. This gun did not come like that. I put that there working with something that didn't work for the video upcoming on this I was telling you about. And the marks on the shell deflector, not too bad. A little bit of brass there, but really not bad at all. Overall, this has been a pretty fun gun. Like I said, I do have some plans on it in the future, which should be fun. But if you're just looking for a basic entry-level AR, you know, this isn't a bad route to go. You can still upgrade it. None of the key components on it are trash, so you're not, you know, cutting yourself short there. You could, of course, save money and just buy one that has better parts on it from the get-go. But if you want to start low, if you just don't have that much money, and then slowly build it up as you go, this is okay. It is not bad. MM and BCN, we both agree. Bear Creek Arsenal. Yeah, it's okay. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe. Stay shiny.